The MCU era of Netflix is over, so begins Netflix characters moving to Disney Plus. When you don't have a lot of time for your movie news, stop in for a quick bite. Okay, guys, I don't have a lot of time here, so we're going to make this as quick as possible. So I just found out via the Wrap that Daredevil, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Defenders, Luke Cage, The Punisher, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, all these shows are joining Disney Plus on March 16th. So for those of you guys that are aware, Netflix had the creative rights to Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Defenders, Punisher, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, the Netflix Marvel shows, as you will, which were at the beginning pretty well received, but some of them kind of fizzled out as it went on. Those all rights expired at the end of February. The shows disappeared on March 1st today, and we're getting them on Disney Plus on March 16th, which means that Disney's not wasting any time with this movement here. I always kind of wondered what was going to happen with those Netflix shows, if they were going to stay on Netflix or move, like who really had the rights and ownership to those shows? Were the characters licensed, or was it made via and allowed to by Marvel with the ability to take them back? Well, it turns out that that's what's happening. So here's kind of the deal. 7 shows are being added to Disney Plus. It is the 6 mentioned ones and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are all going to Disney Plus on March 16th. The rights are gone, so it's going to happen pretty quick. With that as well, March 16th also seems to be the day that Disney Plus is debuting their parental controls. Outside of America, Disney Plus has a much wider range of films and shows that hit their service because they don't have some of the other services that Disney has some ownership on, like Hulu. So outside the US, there's a lot more of that. But now they're going to have parental controls, which is, I think, a good idea. Because you have things like the X-Men era X-Men movies, which kind of vary in how kid-friendly they are going to be able to be picked out based on parental controls. A lot of the Netflix series kind of delved into some darker material. They were considered the dark side of the MCU. When these shows were still officially MCU, those are going to be able to be taken care of with parental controls, which I think is a great idea. It's one of those things where Disney Plus, if you don't have kids, it's a question of how often you're going to use the service. I keep it for the Star Wars and the MCU stuff, and so they can keep bringing that content to you guys, keep watching it, stay involved in that way. But it's a question of how often are you going to use that service. And there was a time period where I quit Disney Plus after The Mandalorian Season 1 because I was not using it. And I came back for Season 2, and I added it back then. And now I've been kind of keeping with it quite a bit. But I can see why people don't want to keep it because it doesn't really have a lot of content to cater to. And fun fact, I've never seen any of the Netflix Marvel shows. I wanted to get into them several times over. My wife started watching one of them without me, and then I was kind of like, well, if I'm not watching with her, I don't have really time to just sit down and watch it myself. I haven't seen them yet, but I was sad to hear they were leaving Netflix because I was like, well, where are they going to go? When can I get a chance to watch them? I didn't have enough time to watch all those shows before they left after that announcement happened. I'm excited because I'm leaving Netflix after Oscar season gets done because I don't watch anything on there the way that I used to. And it's not worth the like $17-18 a month I pay for that service to not use it. So I'm going to be getting rid of Netflix for a while. So I'm happy that Disney Plus is going to keep it because Disney Plus is a lot less expensive. So take that with as you will. It's going to be debuting in a number of countries on Disney Plus. And the show's kind of started in 2015. There's always that question of how related they were to the MCU. And sometimes I feel like maybe they would have been more related to the MCU had they been on Disney's streaming services, had they been on Hulu or Disney Plus. But since they're on Netflix, is there a reason they chose not to utilize those characters? And spoiler alert for the grander MCU, we've gotten more crossover with some of the Netflix characters. We got Charlie Cox's character Daredevil appearing in Spider-Man No Way Home, which means that it has a lot of questions. Is that the same Daredevil that we saw in the show, or is it just the same actor portraying a different dimensions or different universes version? I don't know. We didn't really delve much into that. It was such a small moment. So I'm curious because when Kevin Feige took over ownership of the TV shows, because he wasn't really involved in the TV stuff early MCU. That's why there's not a lot of crossover. I think it's Ike Perlmutter was in charge of that portion of the MCU. Kevin Feige was given complete creative control of it later on, and then he said that those shows were not considered canon to him. So having Charlie Cox appear in No Way Home gives me a lot of questions about what that means. So it means I'm probably going to have to watch those shows, which I'm actually not totally against. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So I'm excited to finally watch the shows that are on there and see how they play out. I like the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I like the first season of Agent Carter. Those were the ones I watched. And I'm sure I'll enjoy quite a bit of the Netflix stuff that's on there. But I will be excited to see how it plays in and how it ties into the larger world. And what characters are we going to see outside of the Daredevil ones we've already seen? Yeah, I just wonder how it's going to be folded in, because if that Charlie Cox in No Way Home is not the same Charlie Cox that is in Daredevil, then you could do some recasting if things didn't work in your previous MCU iterations. But if it's the same one, then that means that the Jessica Jones that is in the Netflix shows is canon to the MCU. It means that the Luke Cage in those shows is canon to the MCU. The Iron Fist is canon, which a lot of people probably don't want because that show didn't do so well. It also means that the Punisher is canon like that. That means a lot if this is actually shifting over and being officially classified as part of the world. That remains to be seen, and it seems pretty curious. Something that's definitely worth checking out. Now, here's the only other question is, will they ever release them on home video? We got the first couple seasons of, I think, Daredevil on home video, but then nothing. And it sickens me. Put your home video stuff out. That's neither here nor there. What do you think about this news about the MCU Netflix shows that are kind of MCU but kind of not MCU finally coming to Disney Plus? Let me know in the comment section down below, and keep it civil. For some reason, everyone talks about the MCU or the DCU or Star Wars, and it just becomes this hate fest. I don't want that. I want to talk about what excites me. I want to talk about what I really think. Good and bad, that's okay. But it's when you trash people and trash things to the point where it's not becoming fun to have the conversation. That's not okay. But let me know down in the comments what you think about the shows entering Disney Plus. Is that a good sign for those characters? Does that mean that they're just putting them on there? Because there's a lot of non-canon stuff on Disney Plus as well. What does it all mean? Let's speculate while we have the chance. Thank you guys for joining me for this little quick bite of news. Let me know in the comments what you thought about that. Go ahead and like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel continue to grow, and it helps you out too, so you never miss the new shows and the new episodes that drop on this channel, and they drop regularly. So join us for that. You can find my film reviews at goatfilmreviews.com. You can follow me on Facebook at Goat Film Reviews. You can check out my Instagram, my Twitter, my personal ones, and my personal letterbox at Almighty Goatman. And you can find my other show, Kyle and Nick on Film, with new episodes Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. New episodes, there's a link down in the description so you can find that channel and go ahead and subscribe to that as well. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you at the next one.